film, gaming, pop culture. Welcome to episode 26 of Everything's Permitted. I'm your host, Julian Brown, alongside my co-host, Matt Reppert, and the newest member of our team and co-host joining us for Season 2 and beyond, Brittany Tomes. Welcome aboard, and how are we all doing? You go first, newbie.
Woo, yeah! Thanks, crowd. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well today.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good week.
It's a good week, Matt. We had a little bit of an adventure getting set up for coming back for Season 2 for episode 26. Mildly. It was a little bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you folks don't know this, but as of right now, as we're recording it, it is 1:45 in the afternoon, and we normally start at around noon to 12:30.
The store opens at noon. We get everything set up and start recording by 12:30.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we bought a new mic for Brittany. I bought a new mic for Brittany, and nothing was working. So I ran home and got our old mic, which is working perfectly. So that says something about new technology and old technology. Sometimes older is better.
Yeah.
Just one quick bit of business I want to get off here so we can, so people who are listening aren't confused. Yes, this is technically a new season, but we're not going to do like new season numbering. Like this isn't Season 2, Episode 1. This is Season 2. This is episode 26 of our show. We're just going to keep going up instead of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So this is episode 26. We're going to try and hit like 25 episodes and then take a break. Whatever, either a summer break or whatever comes first. 25 episodes or summer break every now and then. We'll have to take some breaks anyway for holidays and all that jazz. But we're back. We're so excited. Brittany, it's awesome to have you. If you don't know, Brittany guested on our show a couple of months ago during Free Comic Book Day and is just an awesome all-around person. She also works here at Wade's now.
I do work here at Wade's. We were actually taking a little tour upstairs while you were out getting the other mic.
And not only do you work here at Wade's, you have been like killing it with organizing this place.
Yeah, apparently. Me and Joe, killing it.
Speaking of organizing this place.
Yeah, I know. The downstairs looks totally different.
If you don't remember, listeners, the original basement was like completely renovated and redone. And now the basement part that we record in is like organized. There's not like
there's actual like boxes that are organized on shelves with
we can walk.
Yeah, we can walk through. We're not like jumping over boxes.
Exactly. Brittany, since you're new to the show, I know you also have a lot of other stuff going on. I want to give you a quick plug before we start the show. You have a web series starting up somewhat soon, correct?
Yeah. My uncle's always been talking about doing a web series. And it's one of those things where I'm just like, hey, like you talk about so much, let's just do it. You got a camera? Let's go for it. So it's just going to be another nerdy outlet for me.
Nerdy outlets are the best outlets.
Yeah. But shameless plugs will happen. And
Yay,
I'll definitely
mention
mention this and Wade's on that YouTube channel. But we're still working on it. It's going to be called Nerds of the Realm. And, oh geez, I just whacked the mic. I got really excited.
That's okay. I think we've had multiple whackings of mics before, so I think it's fine. If you're new to the show, if this is your first time listening, we always start about 10 minutes of rants or raves. Brittany, you are our new co-host, so I will let you start. Do you have a rant or a rave?
Ooh, for this week?
For this week. Anything.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
One thing I could probably rant about for the next 85,000 years. If you haven't checked it out already, House of X and Powers of X. That comic book series, I'm a huge X-Men fan to begin with, but there's a reason issue 2 of House of X is completely just sold out everywhere. And that's because it'll blow your mind.
Is that the Moira issue?
Yes, the Moira issue. That scene that they previewed ahead of time, saying like this scene will change all of X-Men and the Marvel universe. They were not lying.
They were not lying.
By the time you get to that scene, they hint at it, and then you look at it later, and then you come back and you're like, oh my god.
So since that's your rave, I'm gonna piggyback because that was gonna be my rave as well. So that's good. There are so many awesome comics out right now.
There are. It's insane.
Like, so I haven't read any of the Carnage thing, but I hear that's good.
Absolute Carnage, the first issue, is awesome.
So Absolute Carnage, War of the Realms was actually pretty fun. The latest Marvel event. It wasn't as big as Secret Empire or Secret Wars, but it was fun. And then
one of those sleeper hits.
Yeah, and then right now, there's a couple of awesome Batman events going on, and like I don't want to harp too much on the show that records here, which is the namesake of the shop, which is I'll give you guys a shout out. The Comic Madness Variety Hour. I don't want to talk too much about comics, but dude, Tom King, even though he's leaving Batman, his run right now with City of Bane and just like that run, and then I had to give a shout out to, it's a 3-book series. I'm not sure when the final issue comes out, but Batman Last Night on Earth, I've fallen in love with the first 2 issues of that. That's under the DC Black label. Absolutely fantastic. And like you said, Brittany, Powers of X and House of X. Oh my God.
There's just so much lore in it too that like it's
They've
hard for
created their own
comics these
language.
days to have
bad.
it. Yes,
I'm not in
there's
comics like you guys are.
language. There's so many technical things that are in it. Consistent, like just between the artwork and then flipping back and forth with the technology and timelines. Like there's so much depth that if you want a comic book with depth and a good story, like this is it.
And I guess you wouldn't expect anything less from Jonathan Hickman.
Yeah, definitely
so,
not.
Yeah, I'm stoked with comics right now. I'm spending way too many comics, too much money on comics at the moment. But
Yeah, that's why I picked up more hours here.
smart. Matt, rant or rave?
All right, I got a rant, and I'm kind of getting ahead to one of our permitted minute topics, but the Sci-Fi Network.
Oh yeah.
I love to hate the Sci-Fi Network because they have so many good original shows, and they cancel them after like 2 or 3 seasons tops. And I like The Expanse was one, but luckily that got picked up. They just recently canceled Krypton. There's a couple others which I can't think of right now. Like, I don't know what goes on at Sci-Fi and why they love to, like, build these good shows that, like, are starting to develop a following and then are like, you know what? We're done.
Yeah.
I
love sci-fi, but they do that.
It was that moment where they went from sci-fi spelled correctly to Syfy.
The Syfy Network.
Syfy, the Syfy Network, SYFI.
To be fair, once they did get the Y in there was funding. So I can't complain. Like, that's when you started getting Continuum, which actually got 5 seasons and was, like, good. So I was like, okay, we're fine.
And Dark Matter,
Dark Matter shouldn't, like, that also got canceled too soon. It was just finally getting into it.
Yeah.
And
I lost all faith in the Sci-Fi Network when they canceled Stargate Atlantis abruptly after 5 seasons. Like, that hurt my feelings so much because that show could have gone on as many seasons as Stargate SG-1.
SGU. The way that one ends is just like...
But SGU was always, like, hit or miss. It was, you knew what they were trying to do and bring this to, like, a teen audience and, like, add some, like, the romance and crap in there. Fans, like, kind of hit back and complained, which I thought was necessary. And I think the second season, which I didn't finish because they canceled it, did get a little bit better.
The way it ends just leaves you wanting so much more. You're just like, could you just give us the ending?
But, you know, before we get to the permitted minute, like, this is something that we've been dealing with more and more in TV recently. Like, it's hard to fall in love with a show because of that worry that it's going to get canceled. And then you have to rely on possibly a streaming network or another network picking it up. Like, Brooklyn Nine-Nine was, like, a really popular show. Luckily, NBC picked it up. But what if they didn't?
I don't understand how, like... And they blame it on ratings or whatever they want to say, but at the same time, that was a highly rated comedy show. Tons of viewership, and suddenly it was just... No, we're not having it.
The thing, like Sci-Fi, I sometimes understand why they cancel shows because they're very expensive to produce science fiction shows because of the computer graphics and all the actors. But like something like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I was surprised because like that can't be that expensive to make other than the actors' salaries.
But you would think in this day and age, with what the MCU has done for science fiction and the comic book genre, that there would just be like a strong market for that. So I don't know if that they just don't give a shit. Or if maybe okay, I don't know about Krypton. I watched the first season, the second season premiered, and I am one of those people that I let it sit on my DVR, and I finally said, you know what? This is before they canceled it. I just don't want to watch the second season right now. I'll catch it when it streams. So maybe I'm guilty of it getting canceled, you know? Maybe I'm one of the people that, you know, is one of those DVR people that says, okay, no, I have to watch the other stuff that's on there, so I'll wait till it's on Netflix.
Well, I mean, like as I said, science fiction shows are notoriously hard to produce because of the expense. Like, honestly, probably one of the best shows on TV right now is the second season of Final Space, which I guarantee.
Oh, is that cartoon?
Yes, it's a hand drawn.
I wanted to watch that, and I never watched it.
It has some of the most gorgeous animation I've seen in a TV show. Like some of the lighting and the way they do it and everything, and the fact that David Tennant's in it as well. I mean, it's A+. I mean, the show's already like gotten like it. Like the first season grabbed me, and granted, I'm behind the second season, but it's an amazing looking show, and I'm worried it won't get picked up for a third season.
Well, we will indeed see what happens there. A lot to talk about on this week's episode before we get to the permanent minute. Today we will be talking about The best and worst, even though it was a few weeks ago, it's still, I think, a lot of stuff we need to digest from San Diego Comic-Con. And then we will also be going down our list, and it's important to say, of top 5 summer blockbusters that we've seen, in our opinion, what the top 5 are. So we'll be doing that as well. It is time, I'll let you do it, but I have to say it is time for our first ever 3-person per minute minute. So again, if you're new to the show, the per minute is we give ourselves 1 minute to try and get down as many of these news bits that we that I managed to get on our thing. I like to say that I try to get us to fail, but the point is obviously to try and get through all of these within that minute. We will see how it goes in our first time doing it with 3 people. And with that, I will just get to
the permitted minute.
And we will start in, I missed a good cue there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Disney's live-action Mulan film is facing threats of boycotts after star Liu Yifei made a post about supporting the Hong Kong police, who have been seen visually using excessive force against pro-democracy protesters. Spider-Man Far From Home is set to become Sony's highest-grossing worldwide film ever by the end of the weekend. Spider-Menace or Spider-Friend?
Sci-Fi's Krypton has been canceled after only 2 seasons, going along with the status quo for a channel that would much rather play The Fast and the Furious 5 times a day than air actual original content. The Lobo spinoff will also not be moving forward.
Martin Freeman will reprise his role of Everett Ross in the Black Panther sequel. Rumors continue to swirl around Ewan McGregor is set to reprise his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi in an upcoming Disney Plus series centered around the character. More on this in a minute.
Destiny 2 game director Luke Smith, over the course of this past week, released a 3-part director's cut written series on the state of the game and the upcoming changes hitting the game in October with the Shadowkeep expansion. We'll be talking a lot more about this on next week's episode. I'm assuming we didn't make it.
By 1 second, we did not make it. No, we didn't.
Oh, we did?
By
I
1 second.
I tried, damn it.
I fucked us up.
You did.
I did.
How dare you?
I did. I totally botched my Obi-Wan because Ewan McGregor.
To be fair, the word that it could have been omitted.
I didn't check for typos.
It could have been omitted. It
could have. It could have. We will try and do better next week.
We'll call it the hiatus.
Yeah, the hiatus slide there. Like I said during the per minute, I want to touch real quick on these Obi-Wan Kenobi rumors, because something that is absolutely pissing me off right now is every single news outlet, I'm calling every one of you out, that is using the word confirmed.
Yeah, when it's
that
not.
This is happening. And not only using the word confirmed, but then using a hyperlink to go to another website that you're saying confirmed it when they are saying rumored. Stop using the word confirmed if Disney hasn't confirmed something, you bunch of assholes. This is so infuriating me. Wow. This is like the world that we live in, where people just want to get a quick headline and get clicks, so they lie. Like, listen, is it happening? Yeah, of course it's happening, but don't use the word confirmed. It's not happening until Disney Plus says it's happening.
Tell us how you really feel, though.
He is.
You want to tell me? You want to know how I really
Rants and Raves Part 2.
I'm absolutely fucking stoked that this is happening. I would have much rather it been a movie, because I don't know how they're going to do a series. I've read the Star Wars comics. There's definitely content for like what he did during his time on Tatooine. I don't know if there's a series worth of what he did on Tatooine. That's where I'm at.
On the next episode, Obi-Wan cooks.
On the next episode of Obi-Wan rides a bantha.
No, you'll see him trying to start a fire, and he just gets all pissed off and just pulls out his lightsaber and just starts the fire that way. And just
it also depends on if they're going to actually stick with the expanded universe, which they kind of dismissed when they started doing the newer movies. So
yeah,
if they delve into those books and things, there's so much there. But
if they delve into the books, and also if they decide to make some of those things canon or not, some of the stuff from the comic run, which is canon, would be cool to see, because there's stuff, spoiler alert, where his job on Tatooine is to be keeping tabs on Luke, and he, during his time, gets Luke out of a couple of spats without Luke knowing, and creates actually a really bad situation for all the different crime lords on Tatooine. He basically, Jabba the Hutt and a bunch of other crime lords are basically putting a franchise on water, which obviously on a desert planet is a hot commodity, and Obi-Wan
not the moisture farmers.
Yeah, Obi-Wan disrupts that and it becomes an issue. And there are people that know Obi-Wan is on the planet and they come after him. There's content. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Next week, Obi-Wan versus Nestle.
Aquafina. So yeah, but stop using the word confirmed. Please. Pretty please. Cherry on top. All right. Let's get to our first segment of the day. We are going to talk about the best and worst of San Diego Comic-Con. Comic-Con had a lot of awesome stuff, and there was some stuff that was not, and there was also some stuff that I'll touch on that was not there. But Brittany, being our new co-host, we'll start with you. What was one of your best ofs from San Diego Comic-Con?
Okay, so I already ranted about X-Men a bit, but at Comic-Con they did announce 6 different series that were all going to be happening with X-Men, which I thought was really important. It obviously mentioned the Hickman run that's happening right now, but they also talked about Dawn of X and some more X-Men and X-Force related comics. So that was really exciting to hear. I think Marvel in general did a really good job. I know that they just had a huge Phase 4 kind of beginning announcement. What I'm looking forward to most from them, though, would be Black Widow and Blade, because those casting announcements, they're just really strong. And I was
really
like,
strong
wow.
casting announcements.
Mahershala Ali, I lost my mind. I actually got up and walked around the room in a circle.
I want to talk about what you just mentioned about going back to House of X and Powers of X, how those 2 series, which are 6-episode or 6-issue series, I should say, are going to basically give birth to a whole new run of X-Men books. X-Men was in a really bad place in the comic world, and with this, they're really hoping to revitalize the franchise. So I'm really stoked about that as well. Matt, how about some best ofs for you?
So going on what Brittany said, I also one of the things I put down was Mahershala Ali as Blade. I've always been a big fan of the Blade series. Honestly, it doesn't get the credit it deserves because it was an adult comic book movie long before there was Deadpool or anything like that. Honestly, you probably can't do better than Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Coming from Wesley Snipes, no. I think that it's the perfect casting. I'm sad that it's not actually a Phase 4 movie, though. I think it's going to be a Phase 5 movie, but they wanted to, hype it up. I was shocked by it. I was not expecting that.
No, I mean he's a 2-time Academy Award winner. Winner is basically your lead superhero in this movie. I mean,
in my opinion, the original Blade should have won an Academy Award. I watched that so many times on VHS with my cousin that we actually worn it out.
It's been on Paramount, or one of those networks the past few days. They've been showing the whole trilogy.
I mean, honestly, the first Blade movie, that whole action scene when the rave is probably still one of my favorite action scenes in the last couple decades.
That set the tone for a lot of action movies
and
after
comic
that.
Movies, for sure.
Yeah. And just one other, I'll delve into this real quick. But Star Trek Picard.
Yep, I have that written down too.
Why did I not put that on my list?
The official, now the thing is that I need to see a little more. There were a couple things I'm kind of like the woman who is doing all those kicks and everything like that. To me, doesn't scream Star Trek, but especially with something with Jean-Luc Picard. But I need to see a little more of it to kind of get an idea of what the feel of it is, but you got my interest.
Let me tell you, when 7 of 9 came on that screen and she was like, "What the hell are you doing out here, Jean-Luc?" I was like, "Get the hell out of here." And people, I'm sure there are some people who might not be hardcore Trekkies. They're like, "Well, what's 7 doing on the show?" The connection there, if you're a Trekkie, makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Picard was Locutus. She was assimilated more than he was. She was full on board from a child.
She would have known who he was when he was Locutus.
Exactly, yes, exactly. So to see that become a relationship, I got goosebumps right now. I can't wait for Picard. That trailer and then Data at the end.
Yeah. Technically, he's before.
No, that's not before.
But Data got blown up in Star Trek Nemesis.
So here's the deal.
Because I know he transferred his memory. Yeah, oh God.
You know the thing that opens up with the droid in there? People thought that was Data. That's before.
Okay.
The running theory right now, and according to the cryptic stuff coming from Brent Spiner, is that Picard misses him so much that's a holodeck simulation. That's not actually Data.
Oh, that's going to hurt me.
That's going to hurt me too.
Yeah, that would be sad.
But it's so wholesome, but ow.
It's wholesome, but I'm almost glad that they're not using like the cheap trick of it being
Like they just assemble before and like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm now Data because
They
I
did
have
it
his
in
memories.
the comics, and I was fine with it. But like, I like the fact that they're doing maybe some, if that's true, in the show.
I mean, honestly, like that would fit with the whole Picard. Like, honestly, in my opinion, that would fit with the lore, if you will. Is that like John Luke is so broken, if you will, after the events of Nemesis and all that he's just like the one person he feels he can talk to is the person who gave his life for him.
Yeah, and they say, and I think a lot of the promotional material for the show, that he feels tremendous guilt for Data's death. So, dude, I can't wait. Like, guys, that show, and
you didn't have on your list, so good for you.
It kills me that I didn't actually put that down.
The only downside to the Star Trek shows is the CBS All Access, though.
Yeah,
I've been paying for it. I
thought you were going to cancel it because you
I did.
Use
Well, I
it.
did. I'm not
Where
paying
they
for it
took
right
that
now.
break And you were still paying in between.
I'm not. Well, I thought about it because I was gonna maybe watch Twilight Zone, but we'll just watch it when Discovery and Picard come back on.
I just know that's the only like downside to it. A lot of people are like, yeah, Star Trek, but then people that did do CBS All Access for like the beginning of Discovery realized when they took that break, they were still paying during the break for nothing.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
They were like, what?
Yeah, I mean, it was like others. You could watch like shows that are on actual CBS, but that was it. But now they have Twilight Zone and a couple other.
Maybe it's worth it
the
more
joy
now.
of streaming services.
Yeah, but I do want to say that as Picard gets closer, we will be doing, I think, what we think are some of our key or best Picard episodes or moments of Next Generation. That'll be coming up later as we get a final, I think, early 2020 for Picard. When we get closer to that, we'll...
I know a hardcore Star Trek guest if you need one.
Yep, awesome. And I know one too. We might have a big roundtable for that one. Giving you a shout out there, Bill Tozzi from the Cinescape podcast, hardcore Trekkie. So
Is he going to shave his head before he comes in?
maybe there's the challenge, Bill. If you're listening, shave your head.
Picard challenge.
Picard challenge done. Myself. Hi. Best of SD Comic Con. Brittany, you'd already touched on it. Matt, you already touched on it. Marvel. One thing that you have not mentioned yet is Thor: Love and Thunder. I am stoked for this movie.
I'm interested. I'm not. I didn't lose my shit over it like some people did. Like, I know that Thor became a woman in the comics for a time, and so I'm cool with it. Whatever, you know. I can't picture Natalie Portman in a superhero role. I can't.
I don't know. Like, she played Padme. Like, she's been in sci-fi.
She's a really good actress.
No, Natalie Portman is a phenomenal actress, much like Michelle Ali, you know, Academy Award winner.
Yep.
Like, she's got the chops to do it, but like there's a certain actor to me that can do like certain action role, and I just can't picture Natalie Portman.
The thing is that they've been modeling Jane Foster recently as Natalie Portman in the comics, and she actually had some badass stuff in the recent War of the Realms stuff. I'm excited for it because I'm such an asshole and I always fuck up his name. The director, Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Thank you. The fact that he's coming back, like there was no one else that could come back and do.
I'm fine
Thor.
with him doing any Thor film for the rest of his life.
Natalie Portman says she's going to beef up for the role. I'm super curious how they're going to do it. If Thor's like, I'm not worthy anymore, and if they're going to maybe tie in unworthy Thor into that. I'm stoked for that.
I could see them going the route of like something happens in like the next Guardians movie where Thor becomes unworthy, where he does something and he's like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, well, we will see, because he's also going to probably be in Guardians 3.
Yeah.
Another thing that I was really stoked Marvel-wise was hearing that they are doing the Eternals, even though it's in very early development.
That's written here too.
Yeah.
I had too many written down. Decide.
Yeah, Eternals. And then, even though I don't know a lot about Shang-Chi, I'm excited for it because they're introducing the real Mandarin and the man, like,
yes.
as many of
Biggest
you know, like,
letdown of Iron Man 3. I was like, oh, Ben Kingsley.
Why, right?
I love him, but
I do have a running theory about that Ben Kingsley is the real Mandarin and that the cover was a cover of a cover. So we'll see if that's the route they go.
That.
I doubt it.
So Ben Kingsley just put out the call, like, I need anybody wronged by Tony Stark who has superpowers that can act as the Mandarin.
Like, the whole Trevor character is a cover, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Deep dive. I'm wrong though, because I think they're already looking at Asian actors to play Mandarin, which is great because Mandarin's like, from my days as a kid, like Iron Man versus the Mandarin on the animated series. Like, I need to see that, even though Iron Man won't be in Shang-Chi. It should be an awesome movie. Any other best ofs before we maybe move on to?
I have two more, but
Brittany or Matt, who wants to go first?
You can go.
I'll do a quick throw-in of just... I'll lump these all together because I thought that like cartoons had kind of a big moment at Comic-Con this year. So there's like Infinity Train that was coming out. They dropped a trailer for that. Gonna be another wholesome like Cartoon Network show, which kids need more of. So I'm just like, cool, imagination, let's run with it. Harley Quinn, R-rated cartoon.
Wait, what?
Yeah. That's gonna be a thing. So that's just kind of like a little unexpected, but it's probably gonna be amazing. And then of course, you know, Rick and Morty, they're like, oh, we're finally coming back.
You got one of mine.
I love that.
She got one of mine.
And then, like, the She-Ra reboot has been doing amazing.
That's right.
That show is so good. Like, that show has made me cry. It got me through some tough times. And, like, I love the original She-Ra, but there was no plot there. Not a lot of lore.
No.
But you get into this, and they get so much into the original lore of the show that you're just like, man, now I want to go back and watch the original. And then you watch the original, and you're like, ooh, voice acting's a little poor. Same running image, like Scooby-Doo. I still love both, though, but new She-Ra is, like, killing it. Absolutely.
Matt?
So, all right, so like Brittany already said, Rick and Morty season 4 basically getting a trailer, and I think the release date as well. So I don't remember what day it is, but it is later this year, and I'm really looking forward to that. However, one thing you all forgot about, which is the Batman Beyond remaster in HD.
The Blu-ray box set.
I love Batman Beyond.
I am so pumped for that. I loved Batman Beyond back in the day. I own pretty much all the seasons on DVD, and if they're gonna put out a Blu-ray box like they did for Batman the Animated Series, sold. I'm there. I want it.
Confession time, guys.
You never watched it.
I've never seen a single episode of Batman Beyond.
Terry McGinnis? Like, he's not a part of your life?
How dare you?
You don't know about splicers?
I'm really happy
The
Rob's
Joker
not
guy?
here. Right, I'm really happy Rob's not
God,
here
Rat Boy?
right now to take away my
I loved
geek
Ink
card.
the villain. She was awesome.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like
Holy shit. Oh, it's such
the
a treat,
old,
man. It's such a treat.
old man Bane. Like, oh man, there's so much good stuff from
The
Batman
Return of
Beyond.
the Joker?
If they brought Michael Keaton back, he could be
Sweating.
old Bruce in
He
a Batman
could.
Beyond
I'd watch
movie.
it in a heartbeat.
I'd be there.
That's happening in the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Kevin Conroy is playing old Bruce Wayne.
Well, he plays
yeah,
old
that's
Bruce
gonna
in
be
Batman
amazing.
Beyond.
Well, he's playing old Bruce, like actual Kevin Conroy is being Batman. Well, not
with that.
in the suit, but Bruce in a dude, the crossover is going.
I know.
Dude, okay, this
I
wasn't
might actually
at
watch
San
it
Diego.
now.
Oh, actually, it was at San Diego
It
Comic
was.
Con.
Yeah.
Grace, I didn't tell you yet. Did I tell you?
What's that?
This does lead into Comic Con. I decided to give in and finish the seasons of, even though I said I wasn't going to. Remember, I gave up all the DC shows.
Yeah.
Mm.
I binged the fuck out of them
Really?
like 2 weeks ago.
ECW'd hard.
And Arrow actually finished very well that season. Flash also finished well, and Supergirl was probably, even though I love Supergirl, was my least favorite, catching up on. It doesn't matter, because Crisis on Infinite Earths is going to be stupid. Like, stupid. Brandon Routh at San Diego Comic-Con coming out in the
Kingdom Come.
thank you, the
Superman
Kingdom
outfit.
Come
Yeah.
Superman shirt, because he's not allowed to use his Superman outfit from the movie. So he's going to be wearing the Kingdom Come Superman outfit in the crossover. So you're going to have Brandon Routh playing the Atom. You're going to have Brandon Routh playing Superman again. Kevin Conroy, Tom Welling, what's his name, I believe, is also coming back as Lex Luthor. So you're gonna have him, and who plays him now? And he's fantastic in the role.
I forget his name.
From 2.5 Men.
And a slight sidebar in terms of DC shows. I had read somewhere, and I don't know if this was at Comic-Con or somewhere else, that apparently DC was talking with HBO about doing some stuff.
Well, they're doing Watchmen, which is gonna get into
that's
our.
one of my lists.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see that.
Let's do that. Let's get into our worst.
Yeah, before we keep gushing.
And I'm just gonna go right into that and say, Watchmen. For one thing,
Worst?
Wow.
Here's the deal, guys. In the first place, I'm a little biased because I just am not a fan of Watchmen in the first place.
He doesn't
like Watchmen.
Inherent bias.
But like the show just doesn't like it. It doesn't like the two trailers have not screamed at me. And listen, I'm willing to give it a chance, but I want you to wow me. And absolutely nothing about what they did at Comic-Con wowed me to be like, okay, maybe I am gonna watch this series, and maybe I'm gonna go back and read Watchmen. It's not there for me right now. And I don't think that I think that they could have reached people who may be less familiar, and I think they were still gearing it towards the hardcore Watchmen fan base, and that's not me. So that was one of my worst stuff. We'll go this way this time. Matt will start. You'll go now.
Speaking of properties that I like, I believe it debuted at Comic-Con, is the trailer for The Witcher on Netflix. The thing is that I wanted to see Henry Cavill as Geralt, because Geralt is one of my favorite characters from video games and stuff like that. I haven't read too many of the books, but one of the things that drove me nuts about the trailer, I didn't get to see or hear much of Henry Cavill as Geralt. Like, he talks, he has like maybe 2 or 3 lines in the whole trailer, and it's mostly all this other crap. So I'm like, did he suck that bad and they're trying to minimize it and be like,
that's alarming.
Like, I mean, and because there was some interesting stuff from the trailer. I'm like, all right, and I'll probably watch it. I'll give it a couple episodes or however long just to see if, it grabs me, because as I love the Witcher universe. It's an interesting universe. But the fact that Henry Cavill did not show too much in the trailer is either like very bad on him in that he isn't that good, or they're trying to just save it because he's that good and they don't want to like give away too much in the trailer.
So, or maybe they're going to drop like a final one before the show happens, and it's going to be like, boom, this is The Witcher.
You were clapping. Were you clapping because you weren't impressed, or were you excited about the show, though?
Oh, because I'm excited about the show. I mean, like, as far as trailer goes, it wasn't like the most amazing trailer I've ever seen in my life, so that's not why there was clapping. But I was just like, Witcher.
We'll see. I've never played a single Witcher game.
I might buy you Witcher 3 for PlayStation.
I'd like to play it.
So you can play it.
Yeah,
I have The Witcher 3 in French.
Really?
In fact, you can download
that's right.
free
You are
language
fluent
packs.
in French. I always forget that.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
C'est vrai. Anyway, my PS4 is completely in French, and I'll forget all the time. And my parents will go to use like Netflix on my PS4, and they're like, "I don't understand." Like the episode.
Is that like an
names
anti-theft thing, or is it like
no?
somebody
I just forget. Like my phone's completely in French. Like I'm just so used to it. So.
Wow.
I'm kind of jealous. My dad would love you because my dad speaks to everyone he knows that knows French solely in French. So,
French snob.
Yes. Worst of?
Okay. Where do I begin? No, I'm just kidding. There's not that much. My best of list was much better, had more highlights. The main thing that I kind of already saw as coming, I was just hoping for more, was Game of Thrones and the showrunners themselves not being there and having that panel. That was one of the most anticipated panels that should have happened at Comic-Con, especially given that this is the year the show was going to end. It was supposed to like end with a bang. People were supposed to be like, blown away, and this was going to be something we talk about for the next 20 years. Everybody I talk to, like, we keep forgetting that Game of Thrones even ended this year. Like, we'll go to talk about it, and it's like, oh, wait, yeah, that ended.
Well, and people were just so damn disappointed.
Exactly.
Like, and we were talking before we recorded, Brittany, like, them showing up would have probably not gone very well.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. I get why they did, but, like, it would have easily been, like, probably the biggest panel, most anticipated, but the showrunners, David Benioff, Dan Weiss, they definitely bailed on it last minute. I think they didn't want to deal with the
I wouldn't have
backlash.
shown up. I mean, because they would have gotten heckled and booed. Maybe someone would have thrown, like,
A shoe?
a sword or a shoe at them. Like, I don't know.
Flashback to Bush days.
I think that goes back to another failure, is that, they didn't show up, and they also announced that they are going to be showrunners for Netflix shows coming up. Not only are they going to be doing Netflix shows, this is the other one that I want to touch on before we go to our next segment, and that's Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know why Star Wars? Because they weren't there, and I get why they weren't there. Because they have D23, and that's coming up, and we're going to have Heather, our other social media coordinator, coming on to talk about that. I get that they want to see. Disney's really trying to, like, bank on Disney
Doing their
everything,
stuff together, yeah.
Disney Plus, Disney D23 for their big announcements. This is the final Skywalker saga Star Wars movie. I am getting hardcore Solo vibes off this movie right now. There's been little to no marketing. They released the first trailer and then nothing. They don't do anything at San Diego Comic-Con. It's alarming. Like, are they worried about the movie? Is it not good? I'm very alarmed that they weren't there. And maybe they'll completely prove me wrong at D23, but we'll see.
One last thing I will say for worst of, and I'm just going to combine because I had 3 worst of things, but
I also have 2 more.
is Walking Dead season 10 and a new Walking Dead series.
Off.
Like,
They should just go the comic route and like end on a good, solid ending and
Like,
just be done.
they already jumped ahead a few years in the main Walking Dead show. Like, look, I loved Walking Dead years ago. I really did. I loved the hell out of it. My Heather and I watched the first few seasons, nonstop. the show dropped. And like Negan is probably the best part of the show.
We didn't even make it there.
Like Negan is probably the best part of the show, but like as soon as Andrew Lincoln left, and I think the woman who plays Michonne, I think she's leaving as well. Like she announced she's leaving. So it's
all
like
the solid characters.
Yeah, so it's like you've lost like almost all of the main good characters. So what do you have left with this show?
I have no idea why. Like, I think it's because AMC is low on content. They don't have anything else.
But they're going to start another Walking Dead show. They already have Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. They're going to do a third one? Like,
yes, it's called Loathe the Walking Dead.
Oh my God.
Fear and Loathe the Walking Dead. Las Vegas. It's all going to be in Las Vegas.
I'd watch that.
A lot of people would, and especially
we can't
on
stop here.
something.
This is zombie country.
Oh man. Yeah, it's pretty saturated, and like zombies, it comes in waves when that's like applicable. It's definitely like a zeitgeist thing, but it's reached the point where we're no longer in that. We're reaching another sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to bank on it longer than they have to. It was good when it first started. That's what we needed at the time, but by now
I
it's too late.
personally gave up after the Terminus season. That was it for me. Like, I just don't I don't need all of that depressing shit. Like, and there's no one to root for. Like, there's just no one to root for. Maybe after Negan, there were some people to root for again. I just didn't care. We tried a season of Fear the Walking Dead. I didn't care. Like, everybody's just an awful human being. That does it for San Diego Comic-Con. I know we're a couple weeks later. There's still a lot worth talking about and digesting from that. I believe this weekend or the next weekend after that is D23, so a lot of stuff will be coming in from Disney. We will be talking all about that. Super excited. Hopefully they prove me wrong, and there's basically all it is Star Wars. That's the hope. Let's get to our next segment, and as we are coming to the tail end of summer, we'll talk about our top 5 favorite or best summer blockbusters of all time. If we have time, even though I didn't put any list, I'll try and think of a couple. We'll do some not great summer blockbusters. Matt, let's start with we'll go from we'll go 1 1 1 1 1.
Yeah, that's fine.
So bottom or top of your list, whichever order.
So I didn't really order them in like how great I thought they were, and I'll just preface this: I kept with the summer blockbusters I have seen in theaters. So they were.
I did the same thing.
Same.
Yeah, so they were. Yeah, I'll even tell you how old I was. So in no particular order, number 1 on my list is the first Jurassic Park, released in 1993.
How old were you?
I was 11.
So yeah, I think I saw that in theaters, but I don't think I appreciated it at the time.
Like Jurassic Park is one of those movies where, like, let me tell you something right now. When the T-Rex breaks out of the paddock and she takes her first step, she looks to one side, and she takes her second step and roars. 11-year-old Matt's mind was just
completely blown.
Yes.
Like this, like it's still honestly that scene still gives me chills just when she first comes out of the paddock and she roars like. And then when you do the research and you see all of the artistry that took to make that, like yes, there were CG graphics and that was revolutionary for the day, but they built a live T-Rex for the scenes when she was interacting with the actors, like when it blew off Grant's hat. That was a real life-size T-Rex that they assembled.
Yep.
And the visual effects still holds up.
Oh no, it's still an incredible
there are some
movie.
scenes that don't as much
Some
as
of the
others,
CG.
but like because it's Spielberg and all of that, like it holds up enough.
The soundtrack, the action beats. I mean, like you can't if you haven't seen Jurassic Park before, especially if you have like a young kid. The scene with the kids in the kitchen that should like unnerve you to no end. So that's my first one on my list.
My Jurassic Park moment, you said you had yours. Mine was when, because my dad taught me to appreciate and love film scores as much as the film. So like when
Flying into the Island.
No, but close. What was his name? John, the creator.
John Hammond.
Yeah, John Hammond. When he goes, "Welcome to Jurassic Park," and they do the pan of like that and like the Bronchiosaurus. I was just like, "Get the fuck out of here!" This is I was only a kid.
Every single time I hear that.
Yeah, you
get
get
even when
goosebumps,
Jurassic World, like I went to see that in theaters, like as soon as I heard the music, I just started crying. Like I couldn't even.
Bum 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 and that's what we're using for our music today. Decided, Brittany.
These are the ones we've seen in theaters, right?
Yes.
Okay, unfortunately, I was too small to have seen that in the theater at the time that it came out.
I'm
but I do love it, and it is on my list of like all-time best. The Dark Knight.
Oh,
Yeah.
you got one of
That
mine.
movie.
I considered putting that on my list, but I held
Just
back.
talk about a summer movie that literally like people could not get enough of. Quoting just the amount of cultural impact that movie had, and Heath Ledger then like passed away and then still got the Oscar. Like,
We are tonight's entertainment.
yeah,
I'm not
I
gonna-
still quote it.
The first time I saw that movie in theaters, the scene went with the pencil. The entire theater lost its
Well, yeah,
shit.
'cause you're
when
just
he
like,
just
that's
slams
the
the
Joker.
everybody's like, "Oh my god!"
We're like finally a Joker. That's
yeah,
like
everybody,
insane.
everybody just completely went nuts. Like that, and as Brittany said, that's the moment you knew that he was the Joker. Like he got the role perfectly.
You want to know how I got these scars?
Come on.
My
I want you to
father
hit me. I want you to hit me.
a
Hit me. Oh my god. Yeah. So Brittany, that was on my list as well.
Yeah, I still think about that. Like, ugh, love
such
that
a
movie.
such an amazing movie.
Probably
so
saw it like 6 times
yeah.
in theaters. It was horrible.
All right, so you took one of mine. So I'll go with a movie that I actually like don't speak very well of anymore. But at the time was absolutely fantastic.
I
and
wonder
know
if it's going to be the same one I have on my list.
probably
Is it the one I have
and
too?
that is Spider-Man 2. Not
No.
Oh, Spider-Man 2 is actually good though.
go back and
Doc wise. Well, it's bad now, but
Yes.
at the time you were like, "This is a sequel."
at the time, like it goes down as one of the best sequels in history. Epicness of Otto Octavius, Peter Parker going through, his
Stopping the L train.
stopping the
Yeah,
train.
oh, so good.
That movie was great at the time. And obviously, like, for being worried about the sophomore slump, like it delivered more than its original, which doesn't happen very often. Does it hold up now? No, I've watched it twice recently to make sure I'm right, and no,
was
it
still right.
it does not hold up. All right, Matt, you're second.
So, going back, I was 12 when this movie came out in 1994, The Lion King.
Yeah,
I saw it with my mom in theaters. The animation, the soundtrack, everything completely blew my mind. I loved it. I still love it to this day. I own it in 4K and of course a steelbook.
no,
I
not a
refuse.
steelbook.
I refuse to watch. I refuse to see the new one just because, like, you can't improve upon that animated classic. It is.
Did you read my thoughts?
What's that?
Did you read my thoughts about it on Facebook?
No, I didn't.
I thought about putting it on my list, but I didn't put ones on my list that I was like a kid.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get ones that like I appreciated more as an adult.
Yeah.
But if I was to, I'd probably put it. Lion King is my Disney movie. That is my favorite. I love it. I don't own the steelbook yet. I found it. I have to go get it. So Karen and I think last week went and saw the remake. And listen, it's not bad. It's just not good.
It's not.
very
what does it
good.
do that's different?
That's the thing. It doesn't do anything different. There's a couple of standout acting performances. Like John Oliver as Zazu was fucking fantastic. What's his name? Scar.
I can't pronounce his name.
Onafor or
Yeah,
Harry, yes,
I can't.
he was amazing. James Earl Jones like didn't lose a step.
Well, I mean, the honest issue that I have with the quote live action Lion King is the fact that when they're cartoons, you can exaggerate their
emote,
and that was
the
their
biggest
emotions,
problem.
like their
Yeah, it's more like Uncanny Valley and like their soulless eyes.
yeah, and it's like I'm watching a lion try and do
People
like
faces.
Hamlet. Like
Yeah.
what?
So it didn't work as much as but I'm glad that Lion King was on someone's list.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, it almost made my list.
Soundtrack, movie. It's another one of those things that like even when they announced they were making it, I knew what they were from the comics, and I like nobody knew
Nope.
really,
yeah,
unless you
personally
had
didn't.
already read the comics and knew.
Yeah, I didn't
but
know.
it was obscure, and you're just like, wow, they're really making the comic about the tree and the raccoon, and like all these other things, and you're just like, okay, we'll see how it goes. That would be like if they announced Squirrel Girl was going to be
Yeah.
a thing, which by the way, I would fucking watch the shit out of. But yeah, blew me away. Just the soundtrack, like how it captured the feeling and everything about it. I was just like, I swear my life by the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
And you said exactly why I didn't put it on my list, and that was because I wasn't excited about it
beforehand,
because
yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. Not to say that I wasn't like excited because it was another Marvel movie that excited me, but I wasn't like, oh my god, Iron Man 2, yes, or Avengers, yes. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And obviously when we all saw it, it's iconic now.
Yeah.
But that's the reason I didn't put it on my list because I didn't have that initial excitement. My second was what Brittany already said, and that was The Dark Knight. So I will not say that again. I'm like so excited to talk about this because we barely talk about this on the show. J.J. Abrams' Star Trek.
Star Trek? I loved that movie.
It was a decent
First
movie. I didn't like fall in love with it. I enjoyed it for what it was, but to me, it was the modern take on Star Trek. But it wasn't Star Trek, if that makes sense.
But it was a good summer movie.
Yes,
It was a
Like, that
good
did capture my
blockbuster,
summer.
and
I
my
was so
man,
hyped
my
to
main
see it.
man, whose name I always pronounce, Michael Giacchino with the score, and you get that epic flyover in the shuttle, even though Kirk's about to puke his brains out, and you go, ba, da, na, 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 and you see like the
Yes.
Enterprise and the 1701 for like the first time, and I was just like, yes, the Enterprise is back, Star Trek is back, and a little brag moment here. I got to see that movie 2 weeks early, which was very exciting.
Amazing.
I went. It was back when like FYE did promotions, like come to the store and be one of the first 50 people and get to see Star Trek 2 weeks early. I got there like really fast. This is the one in the when it was still in the gallery downtown. So J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 09. I'm really hoping they get their shit together and make the fourth movie or make Tarantino's.
I don't think they're.
Well,
the
I did.
Kelvin
I
timeline,
almost
think,
put
is
it
done.
in the permitted minute. I think this is important to talk about real quick. The CBS Viacom merger. So Star Trek is all back under one roof again. CBS and Viacom split up for a really long time, and now they're back.
Okay.
So that's actually a very good thing. Sometimes these mergers are not. This can only be good for Star Trek. So we'll see. Matt.
So I'm gonna go with. I didn't put the year this came down, but I know that I was younger but I remember seeing it with my whole family. Probably still one of the greatest action movies ever made, and that is Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Ooh, yeah.
I had that on my list of like all time, but once
Terminator
again,
2:
too young.
Judgment Day is like seeing that movie in theaters. Like first of all, the T-1000, like because you didn't do that with computer graphics back then, but most of the action scenes are actual people jumping off cars, doing this, flipping over that, like smashing a truck, and I still remember. It's one of those memories that like you never know when your brain is making a memory. But I still remember it almost like it was yesterday. The scene when the T-1000 is in the pickup, is not in the pickup, the 18-wheeler. And when Arnold like runs up on the thing and he has the machine gun and just starts like laying into him, and he grabs the wheel and yanks it and the thing starts sliding and it turns onto its side and he climbs on the top of it. I remember my dad saying, this is a really great movie when
that's
that
awesome.
scene happened. When the thing slides into the molten steel plant. But Terminator 2: Judgment Day, I was younger when I saw it. I remember seeing the trailer, like the teaser for it when it came out on VHS way back when. I love the movie. It's, as I say, it's probably one of the greatest action movies ever made. So, that's like one of the pinnacle action summer movies.
Karen the other day told me a fun fact about that movie that I don't remember, which she told me specifically how they made the sound of when bullets would hit the T-1000. And I completely forget how they made that sound effect. But it
That's
was
good you brought that up.
I know, but it was something really
I have this
cool.
interesting fact
and
that I can't
wish I knew
remember.
the fact, and I don't remember. Brittany, one more.
Okay, just one more.
I think this will be number 5. Yes.
Okay.
Oh no,
That was number 3.
This is
That was 3 for me.
3. Yeah, because she
You're
took
one
of mine.
ahead of
Yeah.
us because she got one of
Yeah.
yours.
Okay.
So am I good? Do I have more?
Oh yeah, you have. Yeah, we all have more.
Okay. I'm gonna throw this out here, but I think it's one of those things that's just because when it came out and I was 5 years old. But Star Wars Episode 1.
Ooh.
Hear me out.
Oh
I know
my
it's
God.
got a lot of things going on, but I already loved the original trilogy so much. But as a kid, I was obsessed with Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I'm still obsessed with Darth Maul. I've been Darth Maul 4 times for Halloween in a row. It was really weird. But that movie, I was obsessed, just simply obsessed with when it came out.
You just
And
younged
it's-
yourself. Not,
but
you
at
were
the same
5
time-
in '99.
Yeah. I was born in 94, that's why I couldn't put Lion King on my list, because I didn't actually see it in theaters. The first movie I saw in theaters was Pocahontas, so,
Oh, wow.
because that was 95.
You can sing with all the
My
colors
first
of
movie I
the
saw in theaters, I think, was The Hunt for Red October. My parents were very interesting for my brother and I growing up for movies.
I always thought, and I was wrong, that the first movie I saw in theaters was Batman, but I don't think it was out when I was born yet. I mixed it up with something. I actually don't remember the first movie I saw in theaters. It might have been a Disney movie.
Well, it's either
would
Hunt
make
for
sense.
October or another movie on my list.
Another good movie I saw in 1999, The Matrix, but that wasn't a summer one.
Yes, the Matrix.
But anyway, I saw a lot of movies way too young. Like,
So that was because of my
Underworld,
dad's
saw
profession.
that.
Yeah. I saw Pulp Fiction at a very young age.
But going back, I remember the hoopla around Star Wars. Like, oh my god, it's a new Star Wars movie. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Because I saw the remaster original trilogy in theaters back in the late 90s for the 20th anniversary. I remember going to see that. And yeah, I remember I tried to convince myself episode 1 was good for the longest time. I was like, it was a good movie. And then the more I thought about it, I'm like, no, it's not. It's not.
Did I ever tell the
I
story?
always watch it for Darth Maul. If you watch it just for Darth Maul, it's the greatest film ever made.
Did I ever tell the story on the show about watching Empire in my dad's basement?
I don't think so.
So my dad is a film music and film critic. He also teaches film and French film.
A+. You would have to. I mean, if you're involved in film at all, you have to know French. Like, that's
Yeah.
just a fact.
So my dad, who was always had to have like the latest thing, had like a really high-tech laserdisc player and like a huge collection. So he got the remastered laserdiscs of the original trilogy, and we were watching Empire. And of course, my dad has like the latest TV and like the best fucking sound system you can imagine. So we're watching Empire, and we're watching it really loud.
You hear the key grip cough in the
And all of a
background.
sudden, my stepmom comes downstairs, and she's like, "Oh, you're just watching a movie. I thought the house was getting shot up. I thought somebody was breaking in." That's how loud it was in the house with Empire. Yeah. So back to moi. I actually skipped one on my list. I went down to one before the other. I'm a huge Tarantino fan. So I personally, even though it wasn't a huge summer blockbuster, it was for me, Inglourious Bastards.
I figured you were going to say that.
I
You said Tarantino.
loved Inglourious Bastards, and I was talking to people after my cousin's memorial yesterday. We did a big family dinner downtown in Philly, and we were talking about our favorite movies, and I said Pulp Fiction is my favorite movie, which I actually don't think is true anymore. I would say Inglourious Bastards is my favorite movie, not only my favorite Tarantino movie, I think it might be my favorite movie. It's just so damn good, and it's got, I mean, Pulp Fiction did too, such a good cast and so many awesome moments. Yeah. Yes, the three.
I lost my mind when I saw that in high school.
The three fingers.
I was just like, oh, bro.
And like, I
realized I do
got the
count
gun
this way.
pointed to your balls, you German Nazi fuck. Like,
The opening scene is probably one of my favorite like exchanges between two characters.
Yeah.
and there's not another director that can film a scene like that, like Tarantino. I know a lot of people are down on Tarantino, and I don't care. Like, I don't care. I love you.
Yeah, he definitely has a specific style.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why he's an auteur.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I'll go to number 4 on my list. So, this movie, because when I was younger, like what my family used to do is around my birthday, I would get a bunch of friends, and my dad would buy us movie tickets to see a movie of my choice. And so, this was my summer movie choice. It was a few days. It came out July 3rd, I believe, of 1996, and that is Independence
I knew
Day.
it.
The movie does not hold up that well, but
Bullshit.
by God, I loved the hell out of it. My friends and I had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
We all loved it. It was a science fiction popcorn flick with
I think Independence
explosions.
Day holds up just fine.
I love Will Smith and Aliens, so.
Don't you
I
dare
got
show
to
me
get
the sequel
one of
ever
these.
again, though. That's all I'll say.
Like, I mean, it was. It blew my middle schooler mind. Like, that was a science fiction. Like, oh my God, all these cities getting blown up. Oh my God.
Hello, boys. I'm back. Oh my God, I can go home and watch that right now. That's one of those movies that if it's on TV, you sit the
you
fuck
just-
down and you watch it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, all right, that was my number 4.
Under
So
pressure again.
Speaking of Will Smith and Aliens, I have Men in Black.
Oh yeah.
That was
But
a solid
because
movie.
it was a solid movie, and once again, this is one that I saw at a young impressionable age, and I was already obsessed with extraterrestrials, and I loved Will Smith, and then this was just what? So I don't know. It's still iconic.
It is.
Stomps on the
I always think of the
cockroach.
song in the music video.
You know the differences between you and me?
Just bouncing with me. Just
I make this look good. Like, I love that line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good lines. Like when he shoots the display of the young girl, and he's trying to explain why he didn't shoot any of the aliens, and he's like, This young girl's walking down here at night, all these monsters, she's not batting an eye, and she's got these quantum physics books that are way above her reading level.
I'll be totally honest with
she's
you.
doing something
I actually
shady.
think he was totally right
was
in that gap.
1,000%
Yeah,
right.
man.
That's why he gets the
Because
job.
he's like, oh, that guy's just working out. Because you could tell, like, 'cause I always think the way that Z just kind of looks at him, like he's right.
Yeah.
He's totally
and
right.
the guy that's holding like the tissue, and he's like, "Yo, he's just got the sniffles. Like, he just needed a Kleenex."
It was like Edgar in an Edgar suit.
Oh yeah,
Actually, that his performance,
It's really
Vincent
good.
D'Onofrio as the possessed.
I did not know that was Vincent D'Onofrio until like 3 months ago.
That was
he's just like more sugar, the
give
water.
me sugar.
Sugar.
Your skin's hanging off your bone. Is that better?
It's such a wild film, but
Yeah.
I love it.
Pierogi. I love pierogi. Oh, God.
I mean, there's
You're up,
more
Julian.
sci-fi hits I
Man,
love.
I can't believe I just got that excited about Men in Black, though. That was
See?
a nice...
It's just a solid one.
It is. The fact that this is on none of your lists so far, by the way, is insulting. And that is The Avengers. Come on, guys.
I didn't like that. Came out in April, I think.
May.
All right.
I looked it up, and I think it was May 8th. I looked... I
wrestled
I
really-
remember it
wrestled
was
really
huge all
hard.
summer. That was right before I
And
went
I
to
also
college,
double-checked,
so.
and it was on a summer blockbuster list. I wanted to get...
Yeah.
That was right.
I'll allow it. It's just not on my list.
And I actually have to, it's interesting because out of all of the Marvel movies, even though it absolutely does belong on my list, I only saw the original Avengers once in theaters, and that was after a wedding. And that was it. All the other Marvel movies I saw multiple times in theaters. But man, it started a revolution. And that's all I'll say. I feel like we talk about Marvel so much, I don't need to go in great detail. If you've seen the Avengers, you've probably seen it multiple times.
All right, so my last movie, and it was already brought up in passing once earlier. And now this could have been the first movie I ever saw, or Hunt for October. I think they came out the same year, maybe I don't remember which. But is the original Batman?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I wanted to put that down.
I saw that in theaters with my family. Like I was 7 years
I
old.
need to get a date on that because I thought it was after 86, but I don't.
It was 89. I
So
put
I
the year
did
next to
see it in theaters because my mom was still alive, and they took me to see it, and they shouldn't have. I think Batman was the first movie that I saw in theaters
Amazing.
It's
because I would have been 3.
yeah, because I mean the original, you're talking about the Avengers starting a revolution, but I mean the original Batman is, that's what made prove that comic book movies could work, that they could be made and they could be adult, they could have fun, they could. They could reference the comic or the old TV show, but they could still do something new with it. I mean, it's you can't overstate how important the original Batman was.
One of the best Batmobiles ever.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, everything
And
about
score.
everything is iconic. Everything from the Batmobile
That was
to
Danny
Keaton's
Elfman, right?
look.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, A+.
Michael Keaton is still by many people considered the quintessential Batman, even though the movie is literally 30 years old.
Kevin Conroy is my Batman.
Well, I'm talking live action. I mean, yes, Kevin Conroy
Kevin
and Mark
Conroy
Hamill.
I
is
definitely
my
have
Batman.
the Conroy Keaton mix.
Yeah.
I like that. I did like Christian Bale though.
Fun fact,
can
I don't know if
respect.
you guys know this, and we'll get to your last one in a second, is that Danny Elfman did the score for the shitty Justice League movie, but he used a brief moment of the original John Williams Superman score, and when they all meet up on the rooftop, there was never another Batman theme used from any other movies. He used the original Batman theme from Batman, because he said in an
knows.
interview, like, that's Batman's theme. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
It should be.
You could say it's Zimmer's score, which I'm madly in love
I
with.
love Hans Zimmer,
But if you think about Batman and a score, it's Danny Elfman.
Well, just think of like the opening to the original Batman, that like with that whole maze thing where
Yep.
it's like, and then you have the horns,
Yeah.
dun, and
Yeah,
then
just
dun, dun, dun,
fantastic.
dun, dun, dun.
Which they also used for the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Brittany, last one.
Okay, last one I'm going to throw in here is Wonder Woman.
All right.
Because I know it was recent, but it was like a big film.
It was a big deal.
And
it was a huge deal.
I loved that movie when it came out.
Yeah.
Did a big deal for female superheroes, obviously, which now even looking back at it 2 years later, we're just like, we're fine. We got like, I don't know, Black Widow's coming up. We just had Captain Marvel.
And
like,
arguably, Captain Marvel did more, like,
Captain Marvel,
as
I would love
far
to
as
put down.
feminism than Wonder Woman.
I know, I agree.
Yeah.
But like, it was just a cool film. It was the biggest for DC.
It's still
by far
probably
still is
their
the
best
biggest.
movie.
Yeah, but
that
at the
and
time,
Shazam.
I was
That and
super
Shazam
excited
are
for it,
good
and then
together.
when it finally happened, it was like awesome, and it kicked off the summer. It was like right at the beginning of when I just graduated college, and then went, and it was just awesome. So.
Yep. These are all really good. I wish we had time to do a couple of either honorable mentions or worst of. Maybe we'll slide in some worst ofs next week because we'll still be in August. That's gonna do it for our big return for episode 26. You can always find our show on iTunes, or not iTunes anymore, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Next week we will be back with episode 27. For Matt and Brittany, I'm Julian. Have a good night.